Heartwarming encounter. Single dad discovers incredible truth behind abandoned blind girl. Life changes forever. On a radiant Saturday morning, the sun spilled its golden hue over the picturesque Maplewood, Ohio. Mike, a devoted 35-year-old single dad, held his 5-year-old son Sam's hand tightly. Their laughter rang out, mixing with the sounds of children at play. They strolled through the vibrant community park, the air thick with joy and whimsy. But as Mike glanced ahead, something caught his eye. There she was, a small figure sitting alone on a bench. Lily, a blind girl no older than Sam, wore a delicate white dress that swayed with the gentle breeze, her face illuminated with an unusual peace among chaos. It pained Mike to see her there, abandoned by the whirlwind of children's laughter. Something tugged at his heart, urging him to reach out. "Come on, buddy," Mike said, letting go of Sam's hand for a moment. He approached the solitary Lily kneeling beside her. "Hi there, I'm Mike. What's your name?" "Lily," she replied softly, her voice filled with a wisdom beyond her years. Intrigued, Mike felt an instant bond. Together, they discovered a shared love for music. Sam, with a contagious giggle, soon joined in, his tiny fingers drumming on the bench. They sang silly songs, and for a fleeting moment, the weight of the world seemed lighter. But as whispers began circulating through Maplewood, Mike learned of the struggles surrounding Lily's life. Her family was ensnared in poverty and looked upon with disdain by many. It rattled him. How could people judge someone they didn't even know? Just then, the community's voice began to swell, growing louder around Mike's heart. Should he prioritize his son's stability or fight for compassion? This moral tug-of-war only deepened his emotional turmoil. "Dad, can we help her?" Sam implored one night, his bright eyes reflecting innocence. "Yes, son," Mike answered firmly. "We're going to foster her if we can." But trying to bring Lily home was met with fierce backlash from her prideful family. Their refusal to accept help felt like arrows aimed at Mike's heart. Just when a glimmer of hope emerged, a misunderstanding shattered the delicate bond between Mike and Lily. Sam, witnessing his father's grief, felt a storm brewing in his small chest. Confusion danced in his innocent eyes as the adults around them argued, throwing around words like family and loyalty. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." In a moment that pierced through the tension, Mike stood before the community. "What does it mean to be family?" he asked, voice unwavering. "If we can't extend our love and support to those in need?" The crowd shifted. A mixture of pride and guilt washed over familiar faces. He called them to rise above prejudice, to look beyond what they saw. But the looming question of protecting his son while standing for what's right hung heavy in the air. As Sam clung to his father's leg, Mike felt the weight of hope mixed with uncertainty. They were on the brink of change, yet the fractures in their community lingered, holding secrets and challenges that awaited healing. What would happen next? The future hung in the balance, a sweet, uncertain promise lingering just out of reach. The tension in Maplewood felt electric, hanging heavy above the crowd like a storm cloud, ready to burst. Mike could see the conflict brewing in the faces around him, some hesitant, others resolute. He held Sam close, his son's small hand trembling slightly in his grasp. "It's okay," Mike whispered, drawing strength from the little boy beside him. As the murmurs of the community swelled, Mike realized it wasn't just about Lily anymore. This was about all of them, about the walls they build and the hearts they close off. He took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the sun on his back. "I believe that family isn't just blood, it's about love. It's about showing up for one another. Can't we at least try?" From the back of the crowd, one voice rose louder than the rest. "What do you know about her life, her family? They don't want help." It was Mrs. Thompson, a woman known for her sharp tongue and dismissive attitude toward anyone who didn't fit into her narrow view of society. "I know that everyone deserves a chance," Mike replied, his voice steady. I didn't know Lily a week ago, and now I can't imagine my life without her light. We teach our children compassion, but if we don't act, what message does that send? Sam's eyes widened, taking in the exchanges around them. He tugged at Mike's shirt, pulling him down to whisper, Dad, can we really help her? Mike nodded, swallowing hard against the swell of his emotions. Yes, buddy, we can, and we will. But the path to bringing Lily into their home was clouded with uncertainty. That night, Mike sat at the kitchen table, his mind racing as he stared at the paperwork laid out before him, the forms he needed to fill out to apply for fostering. Doubts gnawed at him, whispering, what if you fail her? What if you're not enough? Dad? Sam's soft voice broke through the darkness that was creeping into Mike's heart. He looked up to see his little boy standing at the doorway, his hair tousled and eyes sleepy. Can we read that story about the brave knight and the princess? Yeah, sure, Mike replied, forcing a smile. He beckoned Sam over, and they settled into their favorite reading nook. As he opened the book, the bright illustrations spilled into the dim room, and for a moment, the weight of reality faded. The knight in the story fought great odds for love and honor, reminding Mike of the fight he was gearing up for in real life. Every word carried a rhythm of hope, bravery, and determination that resonated deep within him. Later that night, as Sam fell asleep, Mike couldn't shake the feeling that something profound was about to unfold. He glanced at the forms again, his resolve hardening. He picked up the pen, and for the first time, he wasn't just filling out forms, he was changing lives. Days passed slowly, filled with hushed conversations with Lily's family and uncertain alliances within the community. One afternoon, while watching Sam play with the neighborhood kids, Mike noticed Lily sitting alone on the edge of the park once more. His heart ached at the sight. Gathering his courage, he approached her. Hey, Lily, mind if I join you? Okay, she said, smiling softly, as if she had been waiting for him. They sat together, and as Mike began to talk with her, a sense of calm enveloped them. Here was the heart of what he was fighting for, a little girl full of dreams trapped in a world that didn't seem to see her. But just then, he noticed movement behind them. A shadow loomed. Lily's mother had arrived, her expression fierce, anger radiating from her like an open flame. Stay away from her, she shouted, voice tremulous and loud. Mike's heart raced. The delicate bond he had begun to nurture felt threatened. What would happen now? Would it all come crashing down? As the tension in the air thickened, a thought flashed through Mike's mind. This wasn't just about sheltering Lily. It was something far bigger, entwined with love, fear, and hope. Would he find a way past this firestorm, or were their hearts destined to collide instead of unite? The next steps were crucial. Mike felt the urgency build within him. How could he protect Lily and show her family compassion at the same time? What sacrifices would he need to make? The answer felt just out of reach, dangling in front of him like a carrot, and he knew he had to grasp it tightly before it slipped away forever. Mike's heart pounded as he stood, caught between Lily and her mother, a wild storm brewing in the woman's eyes. He could see Lily shrink back, the joy that had danced on her face replacing itself with apprehension. Please, Mike said, the words tumbling out of him with an urgency that surprised even himself. I just want to understand. She needs someone. She deserves someone who cares. Caring isn't enough, Lily's mother snapped, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. You don't know anything about her, about me, about our life. The words struck hard. They echoed in the silence that followed. Mike took a breath, steadying himself. You're right. I don't understand all of it. But I want to. I care about Lily, and I want to help. Isn't that worth something? In that moment, a flicker of softness crossed her face, but it was gone as quickly as it appeared. You think you can just waltz in and fix everything? You think you're some kind of hero? Mike felt a wave of frustration wash over him. No, I know I'm not a hero. I'm a dad and I'm just trying to make a difference. Isn't that what we all want? A better life for our kids? Lily's mother's expression was a fierce mix of sorrow and anger. You don't know what it's like. You don't know how hard I've fought to keep her safe. Mike stepped closer, softening his tone, sensing a crack in her armor. Then let me help you fight. Let me fight alongside you." Lily, quiet and small in the turmoil of the moment, glanced up at her mother, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and longing. "Mom, please," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the distant laughter of kids playing nearby. The sight of her child, so fragile yet so full of hope, seemed to take the wind out of her mother's sails. Slowly, her gaze shifted from Mike to Lily, the fierce anger in her eyes replaced with uncertainty. For a moment, silence stretched between them. Mike felt the weight of it thick and suffocating. What would it take to bridge this divide? "I just want to talk," Mike continued, willing to create an opening. "Let's start there. No pressure, no judgments, just listening." The tension in the air was palpable as Lily's mother finally released a heavy sigh, her shoulders drooping slightly. "Fine," she said, her voice quieter. "But if you think you can take her away from me, you're wrong." "I wouldn't want to," Mike replied gently. "I only want to give her a better shot at happiness." With a cautious look, Lily's mother backed away, allowing Mike to sit beside Lily. The young girl's face brightened, the flicker of hope back in her eyes. "Thank you," she murmured, her little hand slipping into Mike's, this small gesture carrying an enormous weight of trust. As they shared stories about their lives, each one carefully threading hope and vulnerability, Mike realized something profound. They were all caught in a web woven with love and fear, and perhaps this conversation was the first step toward untangling it. But just as the atmosphere began to shift, Mike felt another presence looming. A group of parents from the community had gathered at a distance, murmuring amongst themselves. Their glances shot towards him and Lily, eyebrows raised, judgment and curiosity condensed into one pointed look. Mike's heart raced again. Were they watching this fragile moment with scorn or empathy? Would they support this connection or dismantle the very hope he was trying to build? The tension was back, thicker than before. Mike could sense that the next few moments would change everything. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for whatever storm was about to break. Would he find allies in this unexpected support, or would the influence of gossip and fear crush what he was trying to create? With everything hanging in the balance, Mike decided that he would fight, not just for Lily, but for the bond of community they all shared. So, he stood up, ready to face the crowd, his heart pounding with a newfound determination. What would he say to them? The answer would surely define not only his future, but Lily's as well. Mike shifted, feeling the weight of many eyes on him. Each stare was a push and pull. Some held interest, while others dripped with judgment. The murmurs of the gathered parents flicked through the air like the rustling of leaves, creating a chorus of accusations he couldn't quite decipher. "Mike, please," Lily whispered, her small hand tightening around his. "Are they going to take me away?" The fear in her voice twisted his heart. "No," he replied, forcing a smile despite the storm brewing inside. He needed to project strength both for Lily and for himself. "Nobody's going to take you away." Taking a deep breath, Mike stepped toward the crowd, his legs feeling unsteady. He had to show them that he wasn't just some outsider invading their space. He was a father devoted to protecting his child, and by extension, all children in need. "Everyone," he called out, his voice rising above the murmurs. "I know you're probably wondering what's going on. I'm just here to help, to reach out to Lily and her mother." The crowd shifted uncomfortably, a few heads nodding, while others lingered on disapproving frowns. A tall man with a buzz cut crossed his arms. "And you think you can just step in and change everything? You don't know how things work around here. We look out for our own." Mike felt his heartbeat quicken, a mixture of dread and determination. "And I respect that. But what about reaching out to someone who needs it? Lily has been through a lot." A soft voice cut through the tension. "What do you know about her needs?" It was a woman in the back with worry lines etched across her forehead. "It's not just about care, it's about stability." "I get that," he implored, "but stability can come from understanding and support. I want to make sure Lily has a voice, and that the community knows she's not alone." He searched their faces for acknowledgement, risking everything on the single hope that his words might resonate. One mother, a familiar face from the local school, stepped forward. "I remember Lily from the playground. She's brave, But it's not just about courage. It's about a safe home. Exactly. Mike seized the moment, his breath quickening with inspiration. What if we come together? If I can help her mom, we can create a support network. This is a chance for us to lift a child instead of letting her slip through the cracks. Lily squeezed his hand tighter. He could feel her trembling slightly, reflecting both fear and hope. The buzz grew as murmurs turned into something more. Parents started stepping forward, whispering amongst themselves. "Can we really help?" one woman pondered out loud. "Maybe it's time we stop judging," another added, their tones softening. As more parents began to engage, there came an unexpected sound. The laughter of children floated over from the nearby playground, slicing through the tension, reminding Mike of the innocence at stake. Every giggle, every squeal represented a world of potential, one that must be protected at all costs. But as supportive voices began to fill the air, he noticed Lily's mother standing at the edge of the crowd, her posture tense. Her gaze darted between them and Mike, caught in an internal struggle. "Mom," Lily called gently, her voice breaking through the thrumming heartbeats around them. The only reply was a slight shake of her head. But Mike saw the glimmer of uncertainty in her eyes. She was listening. Perhaps the storm was easing just enough for a sliver of connection. But as their fragile moment of unity unfolded, another figure stepped into view, a man in a dark coat approaching with purposeful strides, a hardened look on his face. Was he an ally or an adversary? Would he be there to support or to shatter the hopes Mike had begun to foster within this tight-knit community? With his heart racing, Mike braced himself for whatever would come next, knowing that every choice now could dictate the path forward for them all. Mike felt the tension crackle in the air, each breath heavy with uncertainty. The man in the dark coat stopped just a few feet from him, and the crowd instinctively quieted, all eyes drawn to this newcomer. "Who are you?" the man demanded, his voice low and firm, making it clear he wasn't here to play games. "I'm Mike," he replied, trying to steady the waver in his voice. "I'm here to support Lily and her mother." He gestured toward Lily, who stood beside him, her small frame trembling slightly. "She's been through a lot, and I believe we can help her." The man in the coat narrowed his eyes, assessing Mike's resolve. "And you think you can waltz in and fix everything? This isn't your world, buddy." The crowd murmured again, unsure which way to lean. Mike could feel their skepticism like a weight pressing down on him. Yet he had to press on. "I may not be from here, but I care about Lily, and I want to help her mum. We can't let her slip into the cracks because of misunderstandings." That seemed to strike a nerve. The man's posture shifted, and Mike caught a glimpse of something softer behind the hardened exterior, a flicker of concern. But it disappeared quickly, replaced by a defensive stance. "Help?" the man scoffed. "What do you even know about her situation? You think you know what it's like to be scared and alone? You think you can fix people with your good intentions?" Mike's heart raced as he met that fierce glare. He could feel Lily's grip on his hand tighten. "I know enough," he said, his voice steadying with conviction. "I know what it's like to feel powerless, to want to protect the ones you love. I don't pretend to know everything, but I'm here to listen. Since when does listening and caring become a bad thing?" A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some began nodding, glancing at each other in contemplation. Mike held on to that hope, pulling strength from the small faces of the children playing nearby, their laughter a vivid reminder of what was at stake. The man hesitated. "People have their reasons for acting the way they do. You can't just swoop in." "Maybe that's where we start," Mike interrupted, desperation creeping into his tone. "By understanding those reasons, by connecting with each other instead of pushing away. That's how we create real stability." Lily finally spoke up, her voice clear and small yet full of innocence. "Mom, please, I want to stay. I just want us to be a family again." The weight of every gaze turned to Lily's mother, still lurking in the background. For a moment the air seemed to still. The dark coat man's demeanor softened ever so slightly as he glanced back at her, waiting for her move. Mike's pulse quickened. This was the pivotal moment. He could sense it, hanging in the air like a fragile thread. Would this be a moment of healing, or a door slammed shut? The crowd began to shift again. Whispers flying as speculation filled the air. Some of the parents who had once been adversarial were starting to rally behind Mike, their faces becoming more understanding, more compassionate. But just as hope began to lift him, the man in the dark coat stepped forward, his eyes locked on Lily's mother. "What do you think?" he asked her, his tone surprisingly gentle for a moment. The silence was thick. Mike could barely breathe, waiting for her response. Would she take the leap into connection or retreat into her fears once more? And as everyone waited, their breaths collectively held, Mike realized that no matter what happened next, it was all about to change. Suddenly, a child's shriek from the playground burst through the quiet, drawing attention, and one more pulse of anxiety stirred in him. What if this moment slipped away? Lily's mother took a deep breath. Would she finally find the courage to speak? "Maybe I can try," she started, her voice breaking as hope flickered in her eyes. "Try?" the dark coat man prompted, a challenge, an invitation wrapped into one. The air crackled with all the potential of a new dawn, and Mike's heart raced with both fear and anticipation. What would they decide? Would they choose to help each other, or let fear dictate their paths once more? The questions hung there just out of reach as the stakes grew impossibly high. Lily's mother took another deep breath, the moment stretching like an elastic band ready to snap. I don't know if I can fix this," she confessed, her voice trembling but shedding a weight of raw honesty. "I've messed up so much." She looked down at her hands, her fingers twisting like the branches of a wilting plant. The words spilled out like a dam breaking, releasing her fears into the open. "I don't even know how to be a good mother anymore." Mike felt the air shift around them, a palpable tension easing as her admission sunk deep into the crowd's collective consciousness. He allowed himself a small smile of encouragement, hoping it would give her strength. What if we tried together?" he said softly, his own heart pounding as he spoke. "You don't have to do this alone. You have Lily, and there's a community here. We can figure it out, one step at a time." The man in the dark coat observed with narrowed eyes, a storm of emotions dancing behind his tough exterior. "You really think that just because you care, everything will magically improve?" he challenged. "It's not that simple." "I know it's not," Mike replied, feeling the tremor in his voice as he fought to maintain his composure. "Change takes time. Trust takes time. But it starts with a choice. You and Lily can choose to face this together, and I'm willing to be here every step of the way if you'll let me." A few heads nodded among the crowd, voices rising, murmuring in agreement. Rather than keeping distance, they approached the situation like threads weaving together, forming a tapestry of collective support. Mike could feel hope fluttering in his chest, like a bird desperate to soar. Lily's mother looked up, surprised by the unexpected alliance forming around her. The community she had long feared to trust was now inching closer with open hearts. "I don't know if I deserve that," she whispered, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "I'm scared. What if I fail? What if I let her down again?" Lily, sweet and impossibly brave, took a step toward her mother and reached for her hand. "You won't fail, Mom. I believe in you. And we have Mike. He's not going anywhere." Her voice was steady, the warmth in her words melting the walls built by years of doubt. The dark coat man glanced between them, a flurry of emotions cascading across his face. "You think it's that simple? You really believe in fairy tales where everyone lives happily ever after?" Mike took a deep breath. "Sometimes the hardest part is just believing we deserve a chance at that fairy tale. Together. It won't be easy, but every small step counts. It's about taking the leap and letting each moment of kindness bridge the gaps." A flicker of something softened the man's expression. Was it acceptance or fear? Perhaps he too was wrestling with the ghosts of his own past, the burdens he carried. "Maybe," he murmured, more to himself than anyone in the crowd. Lily's mother turned to him. "But what if I fail again?" Mike stepped forward again, feeling the gravity of her fear. "What if you don't? What if this is the beginning of something beautiful?" It's those what-ifs that hold us back. But what-ifs can turn hopeful too. You control the narrative now. The crowd held its breath, an entire community pinched at that moment, hanging on every word, eager to witness this hesitation give way to courage. And then, In a quiet voice that broke through the din of uncertainty, Lily's mother said, I will try. The moment shifted something fundamental in the air. But as smiles began to blossom, Mike's phone buzzed in his pocket, its sharp tone slicing through the fragile tranquility. He pulled it out, anxiety pooling in his stomach as he recognized the number. The past laced its way into this new beginning. A face he hoped to keep buried forever was suddenly demanding his attention. What would this message mean for his promise to help Lily and her mother? As the whispers in the crowd faded, the tension returned with perfect weight. The future now teetered on the edge of an unknown precipice. Would Mike be able to face his own fears and still stand by them? In that moment, everything hung in the balance, waiting for clarity, waiting for a decision that could change everything. Mike stared at the screen, his heart racing. The number wasn't just a reminder of the past, it was a siren call, urging him to retreat into shadows he thought he had escaped. The crowd's chatter faded into a dull hum, a reminder of the connection he was forging with Lily and her mother, right now teetering at the brink. He took a steadying inhale. This was about them, their shared journey, the hope blossoming in the warmth of acceptance. But how could he be everything they needed when his own life felt fragmented, threats lurking just out of sight? Lily's mother, noticing his distant stare, leaned in, concern shadowing her features. "Mike, are you okay?" Her question pierced the fog in his mind. He had to focus. "Yeah, He let the words trail off. How could he explain? Instead, he forced a reassuring smile, but he felt a weight pushing against him. Behind him, the man in the dark coat stepped closer, his expression shifting from skepticism to curiosity. "What's going on? You've gone pale." Mike swallowed hard, glancing at the screen again, the name haunting him. It's nothing I can't handle. But what matters right now is Lily and her mom. They're taking their first steps towards something better, and I want to be a part of that." The man nodded slightly, his resistance wavering. "You think stepping up is that easy?" he asked, his voice softer now, almost challenging Mike to prove his belief. "What about the weight of your past?" It was as if everyone had synchronized their breaths, holding on to that moment of truth, and it sent tremors down Mike's spine. The shadows of his past flickered through his mind, memories trembling like leaves in a storm. Running from it never helped. It just keeps following you. The man studied him for a long moment. "What if you can't outrun it this time?" "Then I fight," Mike replied, conviction flooding his voice. "But I won't fight alone. I can't let fear decide my future anymore." Lily's mother reached for Mike's arm, her touch grounded and warm. "I hear you, but can you really face whatever is back there?" Her question was more than just supportive. It was a mirror reflecting Mike's deepest doubts. The past had a way of weaving tendrils around a person, suffocating hope. But in this moment, standing together with these two brave souls, he felt the strength of a new purpose. "Yes," he said, more to himself than anyone. "I will face it. For you both. For the chance we now have." A small ripple of applause echoed from the crowd, catching everyone off guard. The warmth of support washed over them, merging their fates into a fabric of resilience. Lily, her eyes bright with encouragement, took a step back. "Let's do this together then." But as the crowd began to respond, excited murmurs of support filling the air, Mike's phone buzzed again, a relentless reminder of the storm he had not yet faced. A knot tightened in his stomach, answering that tingle of dread. Could he really find a way to protect them, to keep hope alive while confronting what he feared the most? He glanced down at the screen again. This time, it felt heavier. What if he opened this door and let the maelstrom of his past slip in? The pathway to healing was expanding around them, but could he bear the weight of both their futures while battling his own demons? The stakes were rising, the uncertainties of the answer hidden just beyond reach. Would Mike find the clarity he desperately needed, or would his past unravel everything they were building together? The moment tightened around them once more, drawing all breaths in just before a breaking point. Mike's attention snapped back to the screen. The name pulsing there felt like an anchor, dragging him into the depths of memories he had tried to escape. He knew he had to resist the urge to flee. Lily was watching, her little fingers gripping her mother's hand. The crowd's whispers filled the air, carrying a sense of hope, urging him forward, but the shadows remained, lurking just beneath the surface. He felt the man in the dark coat still behind him, a silent witness to his turmoil. "Just breathe," Mike murmured to himself, stepping slightly away from the screen. He needed to ground himself, find his footing again. "It's not about me." Suddenly, the air around them shifted. A woman approached, her eyes darting around, seeking something, perhaps clarity or courage. She stopped in front of Mike, her gaze piercing yet compassionate. "Excuse me," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "I couldn't help but overhear." He turned to her, the weight of her words resting on him. "What do you mean?" "My daughter." She paused, clearly struggling to find the right words. "She's been feeling lost after a difficult experience. Seeing you all together, it gives her hope. Maybe you could help." Mike's heart sank with the enormity of the request. "I don't know if I'm the right person," he said honestly, looking back to Lily and her mother, who were now listening intently. "But you are," the woman insisted, her voice firm. "You showed strength just now. Maybe sharing what you've been through could help her." Mike hesitated. What could he possibly say that would be helpful? His past felt like a tangle of mistakes and regrets, but the vulnerability in the woman's eyes sparked something within him. He recalled the endless nights of wrestling with his choices, the dawns that came too slowly, only to remind him of what he had lost. Without realizing it, he inhaled deeply. "Okay," he said, swallowing past the lump in his throat. "I can try." The atmosphere shifted again, charged with a mixture of relief and anticipation. He could feel Lily leaning closer, a gentle nudge of encouragement from a small figure who had no idea what depth of struggle he had faced. She beamed at him, as if she somehow sensed the moment, his moment of stepping forward into the light. Mike gathered his thoughts, piecing together what felt right. "I've been through tough time, and I used to think that meant I had to hide. It took a long time to realize that sharing my journey could be freeing, not just for me, but for others too." He glanced at the mother and daughter, their yearning for connection evident. "You don't have to face everything alone. Trust me, it can feel heavy. But the weight is easier to carry when you have others by your side." A soft gasp trickled through the onlookers. The humanity in his words lingered in the air like a warm embrace. He felt lightened, almost as if the shadows were thinning just a little. But just as hope began to swell, his phone buzzed again, slicing through the moment. Mike's heart sank anew. The weight of the past had not vanished. It was still there, unyielding, calling him back. "I need to take this," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. But panic flickered through him as he reluctantly stepped aside to answer. What if that's bad news, he thought, dread pooling in his stomach again. But he forced himself to glance back at Lily, her hopeful smile igniting something in him. "I won't let whatever this is define our future," he whispered to himself. With trembling hands, he answered the call, steeling himself for whatever truth awaited him. There at the edge of honesty and fear stood a choice, one that could change everything. How would he navigate through this call? Would he deal with the truths that surfaced, or would he let them shatter the fragile hope he had just begun to embrace? The moment he answered the call, Mike's heartbeat felt like a persistent drum roll. "Hello?" he said, his voice shaky. The reply came, muted but urgent, weighing heavy on the air. "Mike?" It was a familiar voice, one that had haunted him more times than he liked to admit. It was his brother, Jake. "We need to talk." Mike closed his eyes for a moment, wishing to block out everything else. "Can't this wait?" He wanted to shout, to tell Jake to go away, but he bit his tongue. There was something significant in Jake's tone, something that felt like a storm gathering on the horizon. "Yeah. Okay," he breathed, sensing the shifting ground beneath his feet. "What's going on?" "Mom?" Jake started, dragging the word out. She's not doing well, it's serious." With those words, the world around Mike blurred. He was no longer in the midst of a gathering, no longer focused on the hope he had just ignited. Instead, he was thrown back into a past riddled with unresolved issues, guilt and longing. "Mike, are you there?" Jake's voice broke through the fog. "Yeah, I'm here." Mike forced himself to respond, surprised by the tremor in his own voice. "What do you mean? How bad is it?" Silence fell. Mike could hear the buzzing voices in the background, people chatting and sharing their experiences of courage and hope. He was supposed to be part of that, yet his heart was sinking further into the shadows. "She's been asking for you. It's bad. I didn't want to tell you like this, but..." Jake's voice wavered. "She thinks it's her fault, that she pushed you away. She wants to see you." The mention of his mother sent waves of turmoil crashing through Mike. He had distanced himself from his family, crafting a wall of hurt and resentment, and now, with his mother's health at stake, those walls trembled, threatening to collapse under the weight of regret. "I'll be there," Mike said, determination breaking through the haze of fear. "Just tell her I'm coming." He hung up, still feeling the weight of his brother's words souring the air around him. Turning back, he saw Lily, still connected to her mother, her eyes wide with curiosity and concern. The warmth he felt earlier began to fade, replaced by icy dread. "Everything okay?" the woman asked softly, looking at Mike with kind eyes, ready to offer solace. "It's complicated," he said, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I need to go see my mum." Lily tilted her head, sensing his turmoil. "Will you come back?" she asked, innocent and fragile, squeezing her mother's hand a bit tighter. "I don't know," he murmured, feeling something prickle behind his eyes. "But you can be strong, okay? Sometimes being strong means reaching out." Her small nod felt like a lifeline. He realized in that moment how much he wanted to be a beacon of hope, just like he had tried to be just moments before. As he stepped away from the warmth of the gathering, shadows of his past cried out, echoing his every uncertain step. He wanted to believe that he could mend what was broken, that facing his mother could lead to healing. But what if the confrontation revealed more wounds than he was ready to confront? The weight of the unknown bore down on him as he walked towards uncertainty. Would he find the courage to meet his mother after all this time? And what revelations awaited him on the other side of that door? The sun was setting as Mike pulled up to the hospital, its light slipping away and casting long shadows that seemed to cling to him. He felt unsteady on his feet, 1,000 insecurities flooding back. Each step toward the entrance echoed with every moment he'd avoided this confrontation. Yet at the heart of his dread was a flicker of hope, hope that maybe he could find forgiveness, not only for his mother, but for himself. As he walked through the sterile halls, the smells of antiseptic and quiet murmurs filled the air. He spotted Jake in the waiting area, his brother's face a mask of worry. "Mike, there you are," he said, rising to meet him. "Mum's in room 208. They moved silently, the weight of their shared past heavy between them. Jake had always been the calm amid Mike's storms. He reached for the doorknob, hesitating. "Are you ready?" "I don't know," Mike whispered, a knot tightening in his stomach. "But I have to be." With a nod, Jake opened the door, and there she was, an image he hadn't expected. The woman who had both nurtured him and hurt him, lying frail under the bright hospital lights. A part of him wanted to turn back, to run away from the memories flooding back like the tide. "Mum," Jake said softly, stepping closer. Her eyes fluttered open, confusion soon replaced by recognition and fear. "Mike, is that you?" Hearing his name slip from her lips made him ache in ways he couldn't describe. He took a tentative step forward. "Yeah, it's me." Her voice trembled. I didn't think you'd come." "I didn't want to, honestly," he admitted, feeling his heart thud against his ribs. "But I can't run anymore. I'm here." She burst into tears, raw and unfiltered. "Oh, Mike, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to push you away." A lifetime of hurt settled in the room as he felt the cracks begin to mend. "We both made mistakes, Mum," he said, his voice unsteady. "But right now, we need to talk. We can't keep avoiding each other." The weight of their past hung in the air, a dense fog slowly lifting with every word's surface. They needed to confront the pain, the confusion, but he realized something. It was more than just about their relationship. It was about healing, letting the past breathe a little. As the conversation unfolded, Mike could hear the compassion within himself grow. They spoke of regrets, heartaches, choices made in fear, and the tangled weave of love that had often gotten lost along the way. The healing wasn't instant, but it started with their honesty, a newfound willingness to face what lay between them. Hours passed as the sun dipped below the horizon outside. By the end of their conversation, Mike felt as if he had lifted a weight, the burdens of guilt and resentment drifting away. "I want to make things right," his mother said, her voice small but sincere. "I want to be a better grandmother to Sam, if you'll let me." At that moment, Mike understood the transitions of life so often came with uncertainty and discomfort, but also light. "I'd like that too," he replied, a smile breaking through the heaviness. As they made tentative plans for the future, he felt a wave of peace wash over him, a connection forming not just between them but with the possibility of who they could still become. Eventually, Mike stood to leave, glancing back as he took one last look. His mother, now a figure not just of pain but of hope. He stepped outside, feeling the night air on his skin and the stars flicker above. The phone buzzed in his pocket, and for a moment, he hesitated. But now it didn't feel daunting. It felt like a continuation of being present in his life, not retreating. Dialing Lily's number, he smiled at the prospect of a new bond. As her voice rang through, he felt a surge of joy and resolve wash over him. "Hey, it's me," he said. "Mike, are you coming back?" Her voice, brimming with optimism, filled his heart with warmth. "Yes, I am, and I can't wait to see you. We're going to make this a family, I promise." The laughter of children echoed softly in the background, and he marveled at the transformation unfolding before him. They were all dancing on the edge of a new beginning, hands reaching out to one another with trust. Mike drove back through the streets of Maplewood, feeling lighter, free from the shadows of his past, happy to embrace the future. There was something beautiful about second chances, and he was determined to create a life where love truly reigned, one step at a time. As he pulled into the driveway, he knew it wasn't just about fostering Lily anymore. This was about healing a community, healing himself. Filled with the adrenaline of change and possibility, Mike turned to his phone again. "Everyone, I need your help. We have a mission ahead of us." In that moment, he realized that together they would all be family, not just by blood, but by choice, compassion, and love. With every ounce of determination within him, Mike took a deep breath, knowing that the journey had only just begun, but together they would tackle whatever storms lay ahead, hand in hand. Now is the time to be part of this adventure. You need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss our next exclusive stories that will inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Let's grow this community together. Comment below and share your thoughts about this ending and what transformation means to you. And don't wait, not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible journey of hope and healing. Only true fans know the importance of supporting our channel through these actions. Together, we're making waves of change.